Good morning. Welcome to a premium and public video discussion for Monday, April 18th, 2022. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. I wanted to combine the videos today because we have a rather impressive storm approaching the region. I want everyone to be prepared for this storm. It's just going to bring pretty much a mix of everything from heavy rain and strong winds along the coast, and coastal flooding is a concern, to very heavy wet snow for the Poconos and Catskills, especially the highest elevations above 1,500 feet. So we have pretty much everything. It's a really dynamic storm setting up. Currently, right now, we have very chilly conditions where we have temperatures in the mid to upper 20s over the Poconos and Catskills, lower to mid 30s in your suburbs. Few locations earlier this morning were falling into the 20s in portions of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Those temperatures have started to rebound a bit, and in your urban areas, you have temperatures ranging from the mid-30s to lower 40s throughout the region, with winds that are starting to back to the northeast, and eventually they'll be from the east around 5 to 10 miles per hour later on this afternoon. Here is our current radar and surface map, and here's our storm organizing. You have precipitation expanding all the way up into the Great Lakes with another cold front following behind. This is where we're going to see our storm really set up and organize here. And you can see the very heavy rainfall already organizing over the southeast and southern mid-Atlantic, getting ready to press northward. Our high pressure system around 1,030 to 1,029 millibars will keep us dry for much of the morning and early afternoon, but it will give way and slide to the east, allowing our storm to track northward towards the New Jersey coastal waters. Taking a look at our upper level winds, this is what we call a negatively tilted trough. You've heard me talk about this before, and what this allows is that with this trough axis set up this way, it leads to strong divergence and diffluence over the atmosphere over the Mid-Atlantic and Tennessee River Valley and Ohio River Valley. So what this allows for is for rapidly rising air, and that allows for a rapid intensification of a surface low pressure system. Now, you can see our nice jet stream coming in on the back end of this, allowing for our trough to tilt negative. And you can see this ridge axis here that's going to keep us dry for much of today until it gets to about here later on this afternoon, let's say about 3, 4 o'clock. That's going to allow for that wave of heavy rainfall to start to push from south to north over the region. And by this evening, everyone will be seeing showers, and then the heavy rain comes in later on in the evening and the overnight hours via a strong 850 millibar jet streak. What does that look like? Well, right now, it's setting up right here. Let's zoom in a bit and let this load. And then you can see this couplet right here that's starting to organize. Eventually, this area is going to become a closed 850 millibar low, and this jet streak is just going to march right up the coast and drive a lot of moisture from the Atlantic and strong winds right into the coastal plain. Meanwhile, cold air, which you can see at 850 millibars right here, is locked in over the interior. I mean, if this was January, you'd be talking about a major winter storm for the entire region. But it is April, and as a result, even though we have these cold temperatures at 850 millibars down to the coastal plain, because of the time of year and the sun angle, our temperatures warm up, and by the time the upper level low reaches our region, you're going to get a stiff easterly and northeasterly wind that's going to warm up the boundary layer on the coast. That's why we're all rain here. Meanwhile, over the interior, over the Poconos and Catskills, it'll remain just cold enough, marginally cold enough, to support very heavy snowfall. And in this region, you're talking about temperatures ranging from about 0 degrees Celsius to about -2 degrees Celsius. And that's going to support a heavy wet snow somewhere between a ratio of 8 to 1 to 10 to 1 over the Poconos and Catskills and over central New York. And that's going to lead to a very challenging forecast with an impact map that has already been issued, which we'll talk about in just a moment. On the satellite picture, you can see the visible satellite picture. Clouds are starting to increase, so enjoy those sunny skies now, as clouds will increase the rest of the day as our storm approaches. On the infrared satellite picture, you can see the influence of that divergence and diffluence leading to all these cold cloud tops. Remember, the colder the cloud top, the higher it is in the atmosphere, which means the stronger the lifting is. So these cold cloud tops pretty much set up the potential for that heavy rainfall And you can see some impressive convection right around here. This is your Gulf Stream right here, and the thermal gradient of that Gulf Stream and the air mass over the coastal plain is setting up some of these thunderstorms. So you have some convective influence here in this precipitation shield. Then you can see that transport starting to take shape here over North Carolina and Virginia back towards Ohio. And this whole section is just going to pivot and work its way up the coast. And that's also showing up pretty nicely here on the water vapor satellite picture. So there is your primary trough, your long wave trough going negative. And then here is the upper level low that's starting to cut off and form as a result of that negatively tilted trough, especially at the mid levels, at 700 millibars and 850 millibars, setting up this kind of question mark here setup, right? So when you get this setup starting to show up, that tells you have a rapidly intensifying storm on the way. Meanwhile, this sinking air here kind of locks the storm track towards the coastal plain, doesn't allow it to cut up the coast because of this convergence and confluence over the St. Lawrence River Valley and New England. So it has to track this way. It cannot cut up towards New England. So you get your eventual primary low pressure system right here with your strong wind gusts and nasty weather conditions. So let's walk through this forecast. We're using the NAM guidance, but you can also use the European, the GFS somewhat, but European, NAM, Canadian model guidance, all those, you could take a mix of it and it's pretty much all going to end up in the same ballpark here. And as I was saying, this feature right here at 850 millibars, this jet streak, okay, it's going to be like a fire hose of rainfall marching up from southern New Jersey, heading up towards the New York City metro. And as that's marching northward, it's going to increase your precipitable water values up to over an inch, possibly up to 2 inches along the coast. So that sets up plenty of moisture in the atmosphere, which is getting thrown into a marginally cold atmosphere back here and setting up the potential for very heavy rainfall along the immediate coast. Meanwhile, because of the mixing in the atmosphere, these winds, which are around 90 knots, okay, that's this right about here, and that's what we're seeing right on the Jersey Shore, is going to mix down at times. So you're talking about sustained winds this evening in through the overnight hours around 15 to 30 miles per hour from the east and northeast, with gusts easily pushing over 40 miles per hour. I would not be surprised if we get a rogue 70 mile per hour wind gust out of this somewhere along the Jersey Shore, perhaps on one of the buoys or right around portions of Long Island as this lifts northward. This is some very impressive winds here at 850 millibars. And at the surface, it basically leads to just a fire hose of very heavy rainfall within this jet streak. To the south of the jet streak, the rain cuts off rapidly with dry air coming in from the southwest. But as this is moving northward, it produces some very impressive heavy rainfall. The only good news out of this is that once that heavy rainfall lifts northward, the storm's pretty much done. Okay, so by tomorrow morning's rush hour, we should be drying out with just a few pesky showers. But in the meantime, you're going to be talking about some very impressive heavy rainfall and strong wind gusts. And hint to the Mets out there, if you're watching this, someone may be deciding the game, I would just cancel now, because this is going to be a nasty situation with only deteriorating conditions for Citi Field for tonight with the storm. So on the NAM model guidance, we'll just walk through this over the next 60 hours, which is very similar to other guidance. And you can see the rainfall initially pushing northward this afternoon, becoming steady and heavy later on in the afternoon and the evening. Here's your colder air starting to mix in over the Poconos and Catskills. And this is going to be heavily elevation dependent. Do not be surprised if the base of Mount Pocono is seeing rain and the peaks of Mount Pocono are seeing heavy snow and everything in between as you go lower in elevation. And that eventually will spread throughout the entire northeastern Pennsylvania and also the Catskills up towards central New York. Meanwhile, look at the coast. Look at that wave of heavy rainfall, just that wall marching northward. But again, it cuts off pretty dramatically by the time you get to sunrise. As we start the morning rush hour tomorrow, the primary concern might be what's left over from the potential for coastal flooding on the Jersey Shore and Long Island. It could lead to some roads being watched out for a little bit. Definitely some urban flooding is going to be a threat with this rainfall, and some stream and river flooding will be a threat as well. And of course, over the interior, you're going to have that wintry mix with very poor road conditions in the morning hours with that snow exiting. The storm moves pretty quickly, which is good news. And by the time we get to the heart of rush hour tomorrow, we will be pretty much dry, windy but dry, with a pesky shower here and there throughout the day, but nothing too significant. And then as we head towards Wednesday, it's a pretty tranquil day with temperatures rebounding nicely. Temperatures today will range from the upper 40s to lower 50s. Tomorrow morning ranging from the lower 30s over the interior to the mid 40s along the coast. And tomorrow afternoon's highs will range from the lower 40s over the interior to the mid 50s along the coast. And then on Wednesday, we'll have temperatures ranging from the lower 30s over the interior to the upper 30s along the coast. And on Wednesday's highs will range from the mid 40s over the interior to the upper 50s along the coast. This is what we can expect with this storm. Now, Zone 1 is very, very volatile. It's 6 to 12 inches of snow, but again, remember, elevation dependent. So don't be surprised if you have some areas around 2 inches and other areas getting close to 10, 11 inches within this pocket here of heavy, wet snow. Zone 2, about 3 to 6 inches. Again, same kind of idea, a wide variety of snow accumulation can be expected. And in Zone 1 and 3, this is mostly rain, ending as snow, about 1 to 3 inches of snow, mostly on cold surfaces. Everywhere else in Zone 4 is a heavy driving rain, about ½ inch to an inch and a half of rain. Zone 5, this is where I have that jet streak having the most significant impacts, leading to some very impressive heavy rainfall, possibly up to 2 inches or maybe even 2.5 inches of rain in a few isolated locations along the coast. Wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour will be possible. Again, I couldn't rule out a 70 mile per hour wind gusts out of this, possibly somewhere along the coast as well, if we get complete mixing. And of course, coastal flooding will be a threat as well. So one heck of a stormy start to the week. By the time we get to Thursday, high pressure will be exiting. We'll have a cold front that's going to be approaching the region with a few pesky showers, but not really a washout or anything in the evening. Just watch out for a passing shower or two. Temperatures will range from the mid 30s over the interior to the upper 30s along the coast. For lows, high temperatures will range from the upper 50s over the interior to the mid 60s along the coast. On Friday, now this is where things start to get a little tricky with the forecast. You have a high pressure system building south, and you're going to get this backdoor cold front kind of stalling out over the region. Look for scattered cloud cover with low temperatures ranging from the lower 40s over the interior to the mid 40s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the mid to upper 50s over the interior, lower to mid 60s along the coast, and mid to upper 60s over the Delaware River Valley. On Saturday and Sunday, a backdoor cold front will hang around the region, producing variable cloud cover and a few isolated to widely scattered showers. Not a washout this upcoming weekend, but certainly a bit unsettled, and we're going to see a wide range of temperatures, which will strongly depend on where this frontal boundary sets up. So on Saturday, look for lows in the mid-30s over the interior to lower 40s along the coast. High temperatures will range from the upper 50s to mid-60s around Long Island, Connecticut, New York City Metro, and then upper 60s to lower 70s in the Philadelphia Metro, southeastern Pennsylvania, really much of eastern Pennsylvania, and central and southern New Jersey. On Sunday, same scenario. Bit warmer low temperatures, though. Look for low temperatures in the mid-40s to lower 50s. High temperatures will range quite a bit. We're talking about mid-50s to mid-60s from the east end of Long Island to the New York City Metro. Then upper 60s to mid-70s for the rest of the region, eastern Pennsylvania, much of New Jersey. If we get enough sunshine, do not be surprised if we get temperatures pushing into the upper 70s around the Philadelphia Metro, southwestern New Jersey, with enough sunshine and tranquil conditions, depending again on where this frontal boundary actually sets up. Then on Monday, next Monday, well, another cold front will be approaching. Look for this stationary front to start to lift northward as a warm front with a few isolated showers of threat. The cold front will hold off into the late evening hours. Look for low temperatures ranging from the upper 40s to lower 50s, and high temperatures will range from the mid 50s to lower 60s on the immediate coast and upper 60s to lower 70s away from the coast. That is your forecast discussion for today. Have a wonderful day, and as always, stay safe out there.